Deepak Parikh, thanks a lot for inviting me. So I'll be giving a little bit of different perspective. I have a just small question. How many of you think that AI is disrupting the different industries? Can you raise your hands? Right. So quite a few people think like AI is disruption. Disruption in agriculture means people without food. Do you want disruption? I think AI should be transformational, not disruptive when it comes to agriculture. Now we have to understand that I come from a country which is having 20% of the farmers available across the globe. Now if we are talking about AI to be like, removing farmer out of the farms, then where are they, what they are going to do? It's just not about simple economics. We have to understand that actually like an agriculture is subject which is having economics, politics, culture and then technology all woven together. So I believe that AI has to be very carefully adopted, and when we talk about the food, substantial amount of food come from conventional farms, not from the controlled environment agriculture. So in conventional area where AI can be of big use. One is you rightly mentioned precision agriculture. How do we reduce the need for resources, whether it is chemicals, whether it is pesticides, or whether it is water, and even I would say seeds. How do we optimize it so that actually we make agriculture more efficient? Second, how do we increase productivity? That is also very important, because for countries which are in global south, the productivities are pretty low. And until unless we take care of productivity, we would not be having food available for us by 2050. So we have to see that how AI can be used for enhancing the productivity. And this is where you have AI plus biotech working together. We have talked about genetic engineering, and this is where I believe there have been in India just recently, they released 2 strains, in fact, which were genetically edited products of rice. And this is going to be a game changer, because suddenly you will have 40 to 50% increase in yield, and these are salt tolerant and stress tolerant varieties. And this is where actually biotech, that is CRISPR-Cas as well as AIs work together. So I believe these type of innovations which are going to define how we adopt AI, but just having robots taking care of the work the farmer is doing, being global south has a lot of people who will become as unemployed if we have too much focus on automation. So I would say that anything which enhances the productivity, ensure the farmers are more comfortable, and also ensure that actually we are having less stress on the already depleting resources which we are having from our nature, would be the way forward for AI.
Thank you, Deepak. So, Pete, thank you. So I'm going to come back to you, Deepak, and perhaps issue a challenge to you, or an alternate point of view, particularly given your mention of the Global South and the disruption, or rather the preference for transformation. If we look historically, the brute force approach in the Global North is really what drove much of the gains in productivity and efficiency in agriculture. Could some of the things that Bram's just mentioned, that AI can bring, actually provide equal gains in productivity and efficiency, but in a decentralized manner for the Global South?
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. There is a lot AI. In fact, I have been practitioner of AI in agriculture since 2014. So, for example, I would give you there is a product called InSoil, right, which is able to give you within 10 minutes using spectroscopy, exactly what is your soil is all about. And based on that, the algorithm tells you what should be the nutrient which should be provided to a specific type of field. And that's revolutionary change, because it reduces the cost for the farmer. And in India, it is already happening for past 4 years. Second example, we worked in Indonesia, where because of high wind velocity near the seashores, right, on islands, the productivity of rice was very low, and we were able to use predictive analytics to find exactly which variety suits well. So the yield increased. So there are a lot of examples actually, which what you rightly said, that technology developed in the North has been able to impact positively in the yields. Now coming back to the question of we in 1960s with Global North started on the path of using fertilizers, right? That yield has to increase, and then the green revolution was talked about. And in fact, in India, we are very proud that we have been a very strong practitioner of the green revolution. The Global North now today is saying that regenerative agriculture. In 1960s, we were doing that only, right? So what we are saying is that sometimes what happens is that if I am farmer in India, if I am farmer in Indonesia, I say that in 1960s you came, you said that use fertilizer, I did. Then you said that monocropping, I did. Then you said pesticide, I did. Automation, I did. Now you come and say that AI, I'll again do it, and you will say that no, regenerative agriculture was right. In fact, today since morning we are hearing that actually we should optimize that bees should be able to pollinate every flower. No, sir. Natural selection. Bees are there for thousands of years. They know exactly which flower to pollinate so that you have the best of fruit with the right nutrient available to you. Now, if we want to do and change the nature because we believe AI is a bigger power than the nature itself, then I think we are going in the wrong direction. But if we use AI as a tool to serve our purpose, what is our purpose, right? Getting the right food in the plate of the people with minimal of resources being used so that your environment is able to take that hit. Yes, in next 50 years we need 50% more food. But that doesn't mean that actually we'll have to just totally restructure the way we are producing food. Because today, in 2025, we are saying 1970 regenerative agriculture was the best way of doing farming. I pause here.
Duly noted.
My name is Lugo from South Africa. I think my question is, how do we ensure that AI integration really filters down to conventional farmers? In which in most countries, the conventional farmers are the biggest producers. And how do we ensure this adoption filters down to them? And also, how do we make AI not expensive and it doesn't thin the already thin profit margins for them?
Okay, very interesting and very useful question. See, I strongly believe, being a practitioner and was being a farmer myself and you adopted AI. One thing is that we need to remove the technical complexity out of the AI itself. Right? You go to farmer and say that I am giving you AI to, believe me, he don't care whether it is coming from AI or BI. So first of all, the technology has to be invisible. So irrespective of what is behind the hood, right, it has to be very clear value to the farmer. So this is where the conventional farmer, for example, if I go and give a message to him that I would be able to increase his yield by 20% and guarantee for it, and I will protect you with a risk insurance, right, which is also again AI driven, he is all game to do that, and we have done that in past and very successfully. Second thing is that go where the farmer is, right, giving him extraordinary tools and the applications really is too confused. Can you go to on simple WhatsApp, right? He's on WhatsApp. Believe me, the most adopted application by farmers across the globe is WhatsApp. Now, if a farmer is able to just ping you and saying that, hey, what should I do in my farm? You should be able to collect his geolocation, you should be able to understand what is farm for the past 15 years, and then you should tell him, hey, cumin is the best crop for you to grow. Cheers. Believe me, these type of technology, farmer would be also be ready to pay. A farmer stands in line, pay hefty black market his money just to buy urea. Why? Because he's able to see his value for past 20 years. Even sometimes they're beaten up. Still they go stand in line to buy that urea. So this belief that farmer don't want to pay is wrong. Farmer want to pay, he's smart enough to understand where the value is. If he see value, he'll pay for the technology. So ensure your technology is able to deliver value to him. And last but not least, when we're talking about Global South, then it has to be ecosystem effort. It cannot be effort of a startup or a tech company or a chemical or chemical company. It has to be an approach because, as I said, it is a political, social, and cultural issue. Governments need to pay a role into it, and they need to subsidize the price of at least creating ecosystem.
Thank you.